I'm Ellie, and this is
Mark.
What do you think today's score is going to be?
3-1 to the Villa today. We're going to sign off from Bescott in style this season.
Yeah.
Daphne, we want you to stay. Let's carry on battling. Let's carry on fighting. We can do this, Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
I'm Ellie, and this is Amy. And what do you think today's match score is going to be?
2-0 Villa with Ebony Salmon and George Mullet. Go smash it the rest of the season. Doesn't matter the result, just go smash it.
Ellie, and this is Jasmine. And we also have Luna, Evie, and Warren. So, what do you think today's score is going to be?
I don't know.
Just
Evie
speak with your heart.
2-1. Yeah, 2-1 to the Villa.
2-1.
Yeah.
2-1.
4-2 to the
I'm
Villa.
saying 3-2.
Okay, so we've got some really mixed
3-2.
scores, but really high scores.
Up the Villa.
We love you girls.
Yeah, we love the Villa.
Thank you.
Up the Villa.
All the games left to look forward to. How many group feeling going into those games?
And Gareth.
And what do you think today's match score is going to be?
I fancy a big win for Villa. I'm going 4 or 5 now.
Wow, we really like to push the boat out here with Villa.
The confidence, we came out with an attacking team and we played some attacking football recently quite well, just against teams that were slightly fitter than us.
Yeah.
You know, Arsenal's not the team you want to go gung-ho against, but Leicester, fancy your chances.
Yeah. Do you have any messages to give to the team today?
Just come on, girls, it's the spread, it's the last home game of the best card, and let's go for the win.
Thanks, Ellie, and this is
Olaf!
So this is our Fan Club mascot. So what do you think today's score is going to be?
It's going to be 3-0, at least 3-0.
At least 3-0.
At least 3-0.
High scores. Do you have any messages to say to the squad today?
Say to the squad, just do your absolute best, because it's got to be a magnificent performance it's going to be on the pitch today, because the last match was so disappointing. We had one shot, we had one goal. That was 37 times better than Arsenal. But we've got to have a good performance today. Right, up the mighty Villa.
Up the Villa.
Okay, here we are. It is the last game at Bescott of the season for Aston Villa women. We've got some varying predictions that have gone around the Villa Fan Club. Mostly, majority going for 3-1 Villa. However, both teams have got an attacking lineup, so let's see how it's going to go.
Please welcome your team to this afternoon. Leicester City and your Aston Villa.
I worked for a couple of seasons though, but she doesn't start as many games as she probably should. Oh my lord, yeah. Come on, one more! That's right. Yes! There we go. Yeah, superb. Fought for every ball. Mars! Three!
Hello everyone and welcome to the very first Aston Villa Women's Fan Club post-match recap. We've got a lovely panel joining us this evening, including Floating Heads as well. We've got Gary to join us, so thank you everyone for coming on. What we thought we could do is talk about some of the key points from the match, because I know emotions were running very high during that. So it did end 2-2, much to dismay, because again, we were talking about the highlights, weren't we? It looked like a fair match. It looked like Villa actually played very well from the highlights. Becky and Geordie, what do you think? Should it have been a 2-2 match?
I think it's really difficult to say. I think my biggest frustration from it is the inconsistency of the refereeing. I don't think it allowed us to give a fair opinion on whether that was a fair result. To be quite honest, I think my biased opinion is that the referee was biased. I find it difficult to see any other way. I don't, we've had poor officiating before.
Yeah.
Nobody particularly minds poor officiating if it's consistent.
Absolutely.
But it just didn't feel consistent. There was things being pulled up for that. It really made you question if you'd been watching the game properly. It really did.
I'm back here.
Because they left somebody forward. And that's the difference. Hey! Come on!
And it's going to be interesting to see if Nuco bring any sort of investment into refereeing. I know Facebook's wild with calls for VAR at the moment. Personally, don't think that's the answer. I think we need to go full time before anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, it's a long-winded answer to your question there, Freya, but I think it's hard to give a fair view when
it wasn't a fair game.
Yeah, not to be
and that's
whingy.
No, but it is though, because we're all Villa fans and we were watching the match. We were all there, weren't we? And it was that feeling of, and I don't know about the rest of you, but it didn't feel right. Something about the atmosphere, and it just felt like from the off, something wasn't right. Because I know, Emily, you were sitting slightly apart. You were in a different bit. Did you feel that? What was your view of the refereeing from your view?
It's like you said, it's hard for the players to play to what the ref's asking of them when the ref isn't being consistent with how they're pulling stuff up. So you've got like the Leicester players basically grappling, well, definitely a few times in front of where I was sat, Leon and Daly, fully grappling them. Nothing gets pulled up. And then, admittedly down the other end in the first half, just vaguely tapping a Leicester player and she'd blow for a foul. And you're like, the players can't, if a ref's being consistent in what is a foul and what isn't, then they know what they can sort of get away with through the match. But it didn't feel like that on, I don't know what day, was it Saturday? Saturday.
When was it? It's all just a blur of emotions go through. Yeah, because I was going through my notes and I've put questionable refereeing already. High boot by Howard, not given a yellow, but shoved by Corsi did get one. Then I've put yellow for Alicia for question mark.
Wow. Did anybody else see the layman challenge?
No.
I was having I know I sit in front of you, Ian, and she kicked out.
Right.
And I think it was quite naughty of it.
Wow.
And I think my post-match comments on Facebook were we lucky that she was yellowed, because technically now does that not get reviewed by the FA because the referee's seen it?
Yeah.
I know that their centre-back saw it because she screamed along the pitch. And I think that's why she did get the booking from the protests from her. But it was almost the only way I could describe it is a bit of a David Beckham moment of just a bit of a lash out of the foot. I thought she was lucky.
Yeah, she got quite frustrated, I think, because they kept playing balls down the wing to her and not much would come of them. And I think, I can't remember if was that directly following the throw-in that sort of led, we threw the ball in and to no one. I don't know what they...
Yeah, I think it went straight to them, didn't it? And she lost the ball and it went out again. And as the Leicester player went past her, she had a little bit of a tickle. Personally, I think she's a lucky sausage, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, because I remember not seeing it at all and then having to look back on the highlights. And even then, it's a really weird angle. And unless you really looked for it. Like, it's blink and you miss it, isn't it? So it was the fact that she did it, kind of got away with it because all of us were questioning it. But yeah, lucky to still be on the pitch, because isn't that violent conduct?
I think so.
If those retrospective cards and bans, well, if Rach got one when she was being pulled to the ground and kind of elbowed to get someone off her, should I mean, not wishing this, losing a player, but again, if it's fair, you want it fair.
Consistency.
Yeah, you want consistency across the board. Ian, what did you think of the match and kind of just how it played out and the feeling of it?
Just very frustrating. It was like you were battling against the referee as well as the other team. She missed so many things. I think she had her back to a possible penalty we should have had. We were given a free kick and we took it, and she didn't realise. She turned around and the ball had been taken out. She just wasn't aware of what's going on, I think. She missed so much. And the assistants just be useless. They didn't do anything, so very frustrating.
That's the thing, because you want them all to talk to each other, don't you? And that's why they've got the little mics, and that's why, should have got Carla's walkie-talkie back. Like, it's just, talk to each other. Like, you can tell the ref, you can communicate and say, actually, I think you should bring that back. I think you should got it wrong. Yeah. Gary, what do you think?
Personally, the referee, again, everybody said how consistent she was. And I agree with Becky that Alicia only got the yellow card because the centre-back screamed so loud. Yeah. When the centre-backs become officials, it's that. She was listening to the player more than, she obviously didn't see it. And I don't believe her linesman or anybody's seen it.
No.
So you just listened to the Leicester player, and that just highlighted how biased she was actually being. Daly and Leon were lucky to still be wearing their tops at half time. They were being pulled around the pitch that much. But no yellow cards, no nothing. They were trying to take out our two biggest threats.
Yeah.
And it's like, Leicester were there for a kicking match, and we're getting away with it because the referee was letting them get away with it. I personally don't think any of the girls played badly. The team did play well as a whole, and we did, in my opinion, deserve the win. But that's not going to happen whenever you're getting lumps kicked out of you left, right, and centre.
And that's the hard thing, isn't it? Because we were all looking at it going, the chances we had and kind of what was it that was missing in Lindsay? I don't know about you, kind of going into it. We know in the reverse fixture, we were lucky to get the win there because it was so tight. And again, they were very physical and very, they wanted to come at us, and they showed that again. Lindsay, what did you make of it? Because obviously we were sat together.
Yeah, so we watched the game, and I think I looked up at the clock when there was a questionable decision, and I looked up again when at 3 minutes. So the game lasts 90 minutes, and we got to 3 minutes, and I looked at the clock and I was like, this isn't a match. This is literally the referee with their own personal agenda with this match, and it's not going to allow the game to flow, which is what they're meant to do. It's not going to allow the game to have any flair. It's not going to allow anything. And then as it carried on, Dree and Rach were lucky to still have their clothes on by the end of the first half. Some of the challenges and the physicality that was going on. I mean, I'm all for physicality in the game, but there's physicality, and then there's sort of literally bear hugging the players. And we all love a good cuddle, but not that kind of cuddle.
Not on the pitch.
And also we were sat by the lines. Was it a line? I think it was a lineswoman, wasn't it, that was by us, and she was totally oblivious to anything that was going on. And she was talking to the referee, but they seemed to be watching different matches, which was really odd. The lineswoman would flag for something and the referee would carry on, and then they were just totally out of sync. So I don't know what was going on. Yeah. And the referee was laughing when she was getting abuse, and it wasn't like she actually...
She didn't care, did she?
Didn't care. And then what she started doing was, when it came to a foul for us, rather than stopping the game and giving a free kick, she'd go play on, and then she'd signal to fans play on to improve communication with the fans. That's something that we have asked for. So she was trying to improve, but we were like, there's no advantage to play because our players on the floor kicked a bit, and they're running up the other end of the pitch with the ball. Like, how's that advantage? Who to? So that was for me the biggest frustration. But I know when we played the reverse fixture, they were we were lucky to come away with something. But I think if there'd been fair refereeing or better refereeing or consistent refereeing, then it would have been a fairer match. Yeah, I just think it was really good that it ended at 90 minutes because I couldn't put up with any more of it.
Well, even that was inconsistent. So obviously when we went down to the Emirates, and there was like the 12 minutes added on from God knows where. And then at the weekend, it felt like there was nothing added on. And it was like, but what? Like, is it like Everton where we're going to say 6 minutes, but we'll only play 3? Like what? What is going on here? But yeah, I was so glad the whistle blew at 2-2 because when it was 2-1, Sam Tierney got that lovely goal. Can't complain about that from a set piece, can we? But you just thought, is this really going to be our day?
There was no one marking it, was there?
No. Not even slightly.
Straight past Patsy onto her head and in. But that's set up of set pieces again, isn't it? I think we've had a bit of a downfall throughout the season through defending set pieces. It's disappointing, but take nothing away from the goal. It was, a really well taken goal.
Yeah. Annoyingly, how dare they practice their set pieces? I was going to say though, if anyone wanted to jump in, what do we think is the issue with scoring early and then conceding straight away? Is there one thing that's going wrong, or is it a multitude of things? Is it a lapse of concentration? I don't know. Has anyone got any thoughts? Because it was very, very quick that Mimiki had the ball in the back of the net.
I think
to equal
2 minutes.
It seemed like this time, especially, was just a lack of awareness of where everyone was. Like they scored from our throw-in down. Like Dan Turner took the throw-in, and then I don't know if Kenza wasn't sort of aware of where everyone was, but she tried to sort of flick it, and then Leicester obviously got it off her, and then there was just acres of space. It was just, but that all led from like that ball should have just been headed down the other end, and away. I don't know. Yeah. I think there's just like across the board, there's a lack of communication between everyone. No one seems to quite be on the same page.
I think we've got a lot of individuals at the moment. I think when we see that we're perhaps on the losing side of possession or second balls, I think the likes of Kenza, them playmakers that we've got, potentially Jordan, Leon, Rach, we've seen it all season to turn into an individual.
They try and take it on themselves to make a difference, and it kind of backfires.
Yeah, and that's where we're losing possession because there's massive gaps, or our formation is quite disjointed. I think that's been a bit of a theme of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah, because when the starting lineup comes out and we're like, who's
where are we having everybody today?
Yes, the lineup. But yeah, anyone else got any thoughts they want to put forward there about what we could improve to actually cement it so we can take the lead and keep the lead?
Well, we were communicating better in that game. However, it was all panic and snappy rather than communicating with like constructive communication and direction, like saying you mark that person, you mark that person. It was like, what did you do that for? And that just negative attitude and frustration, I think we switch off. We get the goal and we think, we can relax. This is what Carla's picked up on all season. Said we need to get, if we're going to do that, then we need to get a couple in to be safe, rather than thinking, we've got a 1 goal advantage and we can sit back. And it just takes one lapse in concentration in a WSL and you get punished. You've seen it with Bristol City. How many times have Bristol City, bottom of the table, countered and scored? And you just need to really be on your A game all the time. And I think our girls just need to keep that focus and not go trying to be heroes and not try to overplay the ball and just go back to basics rather than this creativeness that we're doing this season compared to last season. I'm all for flair and I'm all for excitement and exciting football and beautiful football, but if you can't do the basics right, then don't try to run before you can walk.
I did think the setup, though, leaving Maz and Mailing on the bench, we weren't playing our strongest defence in the first place. We weren't set up to defend, we were set up to try and attack. And I think that's how we ended up conceding so quickly, because once the attackers scored, they don't know how to defend. a lead. We needed someone there with a wee bit more stability.
Yeah, because like you said, Maz would have been back straight away, wouldn't she? She would have had that like dogged determination that she has. And I think we all kind of had that moment, didn't we? We were like, Maz, Sarah, where are you? Because with Leicester, we've seen how good they've been this season. Not the fact that anyone's talking about them because they're not the top four. They are just quietly doing their business and they're doing it well. I was quite happy actually that Rantala was kind of kept quiet. That was a very good one for us. But I did want to just say, Rach being a bit further back, a bit more midfield, do we all approve of her playing slightly further back? Or would we rather see her as the striker that she was brought in to be? If anyone wants to jump in there.
It's fine as long as there's somebody in front of it.
Yeah. I think
we almost need two Raches, don't we?
I think with how thin our midfield is at the moment, it's a good move. Because she was having to drop back anyway. So at least if you make provision for there to be people in theory further ahead, then it's a good move for her to be where she is, because she does have good vision for putting the balls forward and stuff. It's like you say, there just needs to make sure there's somebody up there to get them.
She did play well. She likes being in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
At the May, that was where she was happiest because she's seen a lot more of the ball. How many times have we seen her frustrated, being kicked around the pitch all season? Like it wasn't just Leicester that have kicked her around. Like everybody's kicked her around because she was our main threat last season, and everybody's copped onto that, and they're all just trying to isolate her. But now if she's pulling back and going to be seeing a lot more of the ball, that can free up the likes of Leon and so on. That she can be like a ghost whenever you see her in some games. She just pops up out of nowhere and away she goes. But it's getting the space for her to be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's been quite good with Rachel dropping back. But like Gary says, we need, we all said, need somebody else up there. I think Dree would be the ideal sort of replacement centre forward. And we need a right winger. So, but I noticed in the under-23s that Ebbs was playing right wing with the under-23s and did quite a good job there. So I don't know if Dree at the centre and Ebbs on the right wing might be a viable tactic.
Have Kirsty back potentially for the next match as well, because I think we missed one.
Oh yeah.
Definitely missed out, absolutely. And again, it's Carla, if you're watching this, which we know you definitely will be, if you could just have a bit of a play about with that front formation, that would be lovely. Lindsay, what were you going to say earlier?
I was just going to say that the good thing about Rach is she has the vision to put the balls forward, but she also follows them in, so she can pick up any loose balls that come out. So if Drew puts a cross in and it goes all the way to the back post, then she can be in the right area to pick it up. Or if someone picks it up at the back post and then knocks it back in, then she's in the right place to poach. So it's not just about her doing that, but also her coming back and tracking back. She's getting stuck in, which is what we've missed in midfield since Lucy Stan's been injured. So we've kind of got that from her, but it also saves her doing a little bit less running. And because everybody expects us to have her up front, so they kick her to mark her out the game and put 3-4 players on her, it's kind of like, well, what do we do? Because she's in midfield. Like what do we do? How do we handle it? And then next thing you know is Dree running up the pitch with the ball with everybody behind her, can't catch her, and we're scoring, or Ebony doing the same thing. And I think that will free them up with their performance to focus on, going for that striking role, which will drive up their performance and their scoring to get us those goals to climb us up the table.
And I think in some cases as well, actually having Rach there, I don't know if anyone else noticed, the matchup between her and Howard was a really good physical matchup. I did think they were going to end up in a scrap at one point, which again would have been hilarious for the highlights. But no more yellows, because we got 3 yellows in that one compared to Leicester's 1. However, some more stats, which again, if we can just convert and get that final ball in the back of the net, we had 13 shots, 8 on target. I mean, not as good as our 1-in-1 at Villa Park, but we'll take it. Compared to Leicester's 11 shots and 3 on target. Possession was fairly equal. Passes were equal. Fouls, allegedly, were pretty much equal. So yeah, it was. If you're just looking at the stats, and like we were saying, if you just look at the highlights, it looked like quite a fair game. Alas, it was not with the refereeing. I did also put, what did I put? Took until the 87th minute for a yellow for shirt pulling. So there we go. 87 minutes it took to actually criticise that. And also, I'd put, my notes are brilliant when I'm through a game. Yellow for Jordan, ? Yet nothing for Peterman, who's been shouting at the ref. Did anyone else see Peterman shouting at the ref consistently?
Yeah.
I was going to say, which occasion?
Yeah. Throughout. And
she was trying to dictate that referee quite a bit.
Yeah. And yeah, we saw, telling the ref to give a card. Oh, she did it. Peterman shouting. But then we saw, earlier in the season, in the Man City match, you even look at the ref and you get sent off. So again, it's that consistency throughout, isn't it? And like we've all said, that was the frustrating thing. So attendance-wise, 2,182. That's good. We're getting better. Now, I know we are all part of the fan club and we create that atmosphere as loud as we possibly can. Do we think it's growing week on week? Do we think more people are joining us wanting that atmosphere to get better? How have we all seen the difference?
I think through feedback from our social media channels, we do have a lot of people thinking now, right, okay, where's the best place for a season ticket? Where is the noise at? I personally get a lot of questions through the Facebook channels of, right, I'm thinking of getting a season ticket. Where should I best sit? And I think this season, especially compared to last season, we have got quite a bit of a huddle in the E block now, which, the prior season we didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think I can see it growing game on game because I think, unfortunately, with the ladies' game, I think that all depends on the opposition, even though technically Leicester was a derby. I think season on season, I can definitely see it, which is a massive positive, especially coming away from not quite a successful international campaign. I know, obviously, we got to the final of the World Cup, but it wasn't home-based Euros sort of continuance of that, is it?
How about Ian? Because I know you've followed Villa Women Villa in general for a lot of years. How does it feel now compared to previous seasons for you?
It is getting better, but it's still very quiet. I mean, again, I went to the FA Cup, the Country Cup final, and the Arsenal fans, they were just, every time I've seen the Arsenal fans, either on the TV or in the stadium, they're another level. Until we get to that sort of level, it's we're always playing catch up in terms of support, and too many people just sit there and just sit here and watch it like I'm watching the telly. They don't engage. That's the problem, I think. Trying to get people to sort of cheer and stand up and sing, and that's something we need to do. I'll just find a way of doing that. I don't know how we do it, but
was in my season ticket this year has been in B block, and I've not really sat there very much, to be honest. But I got there and I thought I'm going to sit there because it's the last game at Bescott, and that block was actually quite full, which I was like, oh, that's good. But like you say, it's all just like dead silence, football in a line.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't want to sort of stand up and shout and sing and stuff because there's nobody else doing it. But
yeah, it's still that feeling of should I not, even though they are, and I can see them and I want to get part of it. And you think sometimes maybe does it take one person in that particular area to stand up and start it, maybe, or maybe they're trying to get away from you lot. I don't know, but for a bit of peace and quiet. We're saying like it's good banter, isn't it? And you want that fun, and you want to be able to still sit with the opposition fans and have that friendly rivalry. But it's getting to a point now. Some games, some fans are a bit, I don't want to say intimidating, but like when we went away to United, for example,
Tottenham.
And I wasn't there for the Tottenham one. Were they? Yeah, there was that incident, right? We won't go into that too much, but yeah, something happened there. And you just think it's a game. We need to remember that, and we're all there to support and have fun. And there's banter, and then there's bullying. There's a line, and it's trying to get that happy medium because The one thing as well is the amount of like, can I have your shirt? All of those signs creeping in. I don't know if you saw them all at the England game on Friday. That was horrendous, like 4 rows deep all the way around Wembley of begging signs. And you're just like, they don't never mind. But yeah, it's finding the right balance. It's the right atmosphere within that. Do we think we're going to stay at Bescott, or do we think a different stadium could be on the cards at some point?
Where is there?
Do you think?
There's nowhere else in the West Midlands of that sort of size, unfortunately.
Well, there we go.
Wolves have to go out to Telford, and it's just that I think West Brom go out somewhere right out in the sticks. I'm trying to find a stadium within the West Midlands conurbation that's that same sort of capacity and facilities, and the communication, the transport links that Walsall have got. That's the problem I think we've got.
Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head as well, like with the transport links, because of where it is very accessible.
Rail, motorways, or even just the roads in through the West Midlands itself. You've got everything there, really. So,
and also you've got the locker, haven't you, that they've opened, and I think that will they've taken on board that the previous setup wasn't working. The fact that we can fill that, I think, will also be very keen to invest in us next season with the money and revenue that we bring from that to help justify keeping it open, because there's a lot of drinks that are being bought, a lot of food that's being bought, not that we're all alcoholics, there's just a lot of people in there, so there's a lot of drinks being bought, so it makes it worthwhile setting up the bar, and I think potentially it is really good. It's not great accessibility wise if you've got mobility issues, because of the tarmac around there is a bit broken up, and the low curbs aren't great for wheelchairs. Whereas when you think about going to Villa Park, it's always a bit more difficult to get to, whereas there it's all just set up. But I think as we get a bigger gate revenue coming through, then they'll have to look about something else, but hopefully by then they'll have decided what they're doing with this whole Villa Park Stadium expansion and training complexes and stuff. And
because there's a lot of talk, isn't there, about some teams moving to the stadium, some teams wanted to have a stadium as the club stadium, and we kind of feel that, and I know especially with the Sunderland fans as well, they want to be able to sell out their home ground, get the atmosphere, get the fans in, get that feeling, and then if it's necessary or possible to maybe move to a slightly bigger stadium as the game grows. We don't want to sit in, well, when they actually open Bescott, because at the minute we're only half, aren't we? So I think goal to fill Bescott, that'd be a nice little dream.
I think everybody knows my unpopular opinion of games at Villa Park. I personally don't like it. It feels it's too big for us.
It doesn't feel like home, does it?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I think what we did last season, correct me if I'm wrong, the Man City game in the Cup, Villa Park put coaches on from Villa Park to Bescott, and I believe that was our record attendance for last season. So do we start considering things like transport from Villa Park to our home, so to speak? Could that be a way forward? Can you imagine, what did we have against Man United? 12,000. Imagine 12,000 at Bescott. It would be absolutely bouncing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even with like the Emirates, the way they sell it, don't they? They do it in tiers. So it's not just we'll sell out this half because it'll look good for the cameras. It's right, we'll do lower, then we'll do middle, then we'll do upper, and you get that feeling all the way around, not just an echo. To join in with a song at some point. Who was everyone's player of the match? Now, Becky, I know you're in charge of this. Who did we vote for again? Was it Dree? Have I made that?
Dree, yeah.
Yeah. I personally thought as well, actually seeing Miri for a good amount of time made all the difference.
I've got that on my notes. I loved her yellow card for a bit of aggression.
Yeah, I've put her physicality was much needed in that match. So how are we feeling now, the fact that we can probably play her more and actually see her more as part of this team? Do you think she's a good fit? She was a good transfer?
I think so. I think she provides a bit of aggression, a bit of energy. when she came on, she sort of gave us a bit of a boost, which I think we're going to see that rather than just sort of disjointed. She gave some sort of drive and focus. That's how I saw it anyway. So I was quite impressed with her.
Yeah, like obviously we know we love Audrey, but yeah, anyone else impressed for anyone?
I've been another one that's a fan of Mary, getting to watch her in that game, even her vision, her passing. You know, I think that was maybe overlooked a bit as well, but she did create a couple of chances for us whenever she came on. But if I'm going to look at another player, it has to be Freya. Why did we bring her back and not give her any minutes?
I've got that on my notes. Yeah, why? You know, she was doing well at Reading. She's still not played any minutes, has she? Gary, is it?
She came on for Everton.
Pretty much. I think she's maybe got 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there at the end of a couple of her games, but you know, she's not really given a chance to create an impact. And we've seen what she's done at Reading. She can create an impact if she's given the time.
Yeah, because she did a cracking cross in front of us at Everton, and you're like, that's what we need. We need that supply. We need, you know, down the wing. We need someone there. So yeah, I'm all for her getting more minutes. Absolutely. Because we've only got a couple of games left, so it's that thing of you've got a squad, use it, rotate. Like we've got enough injuries. We don't need people coming in who maybe aren't quite match ready because they just haven't been playing. Not because they're not good enough, but just because they haven't had that consistency in. So again, Carla, if you'd like a bit of rotation, we'll do your starting 11. We'll we'll get us all together to go for it. Now we did say as well, we'll leave it till today to see how Rach does for the Lionesses. However, didn't get on the pitch. So Serena taking her as a forward, is she ever going to use her as a forward, or has she got her as a backup in case someone else from another position? Because we know she can play everywhere, but because she was needed to get in that Sweden game, and she should have been brought on because that midfield was just getting completely overwhelmed, and she would have, personally, I think she would have done something. But yeah, how are we all feeling about that one? Emily, any thoughts about Rich?
I think, like you said, if you look on sort of, if you're Serena looking at form of forwards this season in the WSL, if you were solely looking at that, then Serena probably wouldn't pick her for that, even though we probably all think she should be. So I think she's using, as like you said, I'm going to call her in because then if I need her anywhere, I'll play her. But she's never going to be her go-to for what, like we saw, even as a sub. Like when the board came up and we saw who was coming on. I can't remember. It was when Chloe Kelly came on. Or I can't remember who it was, but it was just that's
Kelly Mead. Who else? I thought when Kelly came on, she was crossing some fantastic balls in, but there's no focus, no centre forward in there. So the balls just go into the box. There's some cracking balls going, but nobody there to get hold of it. Once Russo went off, there's no sort of centre forward as such.
It was like that cut
and that could have made a big
did to
nothing. Oh, that cutback, yeah. And you just saw if Rach was on, she would have been in. She would have followed it in the box, and it would have been in. But yeah, you're right. There was just no one there, was there, for that one? And then people are slating Tooney, saying she shouldn't have put it in. It's like, no, she should have. The rest of the team should have gone with her.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Becky, Jodie, anything else? But
I think it's a difficult one for England because even when she was top goal scorer, she still wasn't first choice.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if they see something different and how she wants to play or anything, but I can't see a reason as to why you wouldn't want her on the pitch for just the legs, the running, the aggression, the wanting to be on the ball and wanting to do something.
Yeah.
I think that was very lacking.
Yeah, because even if you put her, if you've got Lucy at right back and, whacked her in at left back, you've got two people there who are going to fight for every single ball. And I'm worried about when Lucy Bronze goes because who else has got that work rate? So if she could just keep playing until she's like 60, that would be great for that one.
I don't even feel like Georgia Stanway had that drive in the game.
No, she just seemed to be, because normally she's that physical presence, isn't she? And it just felt like everyone was marking Kira out the game, and they did it really well because she was struggling. She had like 4
But nobody picked up that space.
Yeah.
I was going to say that that's the frustration. They mark our best player, arguably best player out,
Yeah.
which in theory should create a hell of a lot of space for everybody else. But they just didn't seem. They seemed to have more players on the pitch than we did at any given point. It was really weird.
It was, yeah. And you just think, how are we playing here, or how are we trying to take the initiative to then change it up? Because clearly it's not working. And Serena said in a press conference today, she was like, "Oh, some things we tried didn't work. Some things we tried did." It's like, yeah, but we need points. We need to win. Gary, what do you think about Rachel's position in the team?
I don't understand how she's not getting on, but I mean, even last season, whenever she was the top goal scorer, it still wasn't getting on behind Russo. And not being funny, but I'm a better finisher than Russo.
Exactly, yeah. But because Russo, when she's been for Arsenal, she's been more of that 10, hasn't she? She's been a bit behind. She's been that supply.
Yeah.
And it's like, put her there. Like, she needs a Rach with her.
Well, since Ellen White retired, we haven't had a straight up centre forward. Rachel's the obvious choice, but Russo, like I say, she's a 10. She's not a lethal centre forward. She can score, but she's better off running through and feeding the ball, getting the rebound or whatever. And Rachel's the obvious choice for me as to replace Ellen White, but I don't know.
Yeah. And again, Serena, when you're watching this, take it on board. We'll be your feedback panel, don't worry. Lindsay, any thoughts on Rachel's position in the team? Can she do anything, or is it just Serena just isn't picking up?
I think since she went to be a forward, I think she's kind of put her eggs in the basket and rocked the England setup a little bit, because she's forced their hand to find another defender. But like we said, like last season, she was absolutely phenomenal, and she didn't get a sniff. And if she'd been played in that World Cup final, would it have been different? And then you look at, it's the Beth England thing, isn't it, as well? Because Beth England was playing fantastically and gets overlooked all the time, and she's a poacher. So if you want a poacher to go and play up front with Russo, who I've maintained from day one is a 10, not a 9, then you want one of those two there. And why are they not? Why are they not getting the minutes to play up? And it's because she's obsessed with playing the whole Hempo and Kelly on the wing, when technically you could have Hempo or Kelly play on both wings, not literally at the same time, but rotate between the side that they're going to be on, and then have your 10 and your 9. So they're almost playing in like a train with the three of them, and then you can have one poaching, one holding the ball up and diverting it, and then one running down the wing, whichever wing the ball's going, to move it. I know it's a bit unconventional, but you need to be doing something. And I just think we're so predictable that it's almost like square peg round hole situation, and that's what's happening with England at the moment. We're predictable, and we're trying to make something work that just isn't the way that we play, and we need to do something a bit different. And bringing in new personnel isn't necessarily the answer. It's because we've got some fantastic players, some absolutely phenomenal talent, but we just need to sort it out into a way that is really going to be effective and work, and get the players at the best of their ability, which means minutes and getting the rotation, so they've got the fire. And then when they come on international duty, they're like Dree, who's literally smashing it out the park. That's what we want, rather than watching them play at the best score, thinking, oh, they did really well, and then watching them play at international, and you're like, is this the same player?
And it's like you said, it's getting that fire for both club and country, isn't it? And to do that. And speaking of fire for club and country, can we just take a moment to worship Dree on the pod? Because I know, Emily, you've been watching a lot of the Canadian, following a lot of it as well. And Dree scored one of the pens to send them through to the final, I believe, of the She Believes Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, Ashley Lawrence missed their first pen. Sheridan saved the martyr penalty, and then so Dree scored. She got the first one on the board, which then sort of settled them, I think. But yeah, Bev Priestman tried a weird sort of formation at the start of that match, which I don't think helped Dree in the first half because she didn't get much service. But yeah, they got through in the end.
And that's the thing. You just think, if Bree's on the pitch, and we've seen it for Villa as well, get the ball to her. Like, she's in space. So many times no one's marking her. Get the ball over. And you just think, if we can see it, other people can definitely see it as well. So Dree and Canada, not just Dree, are through to the final of the She Believes Cup, which is against the USA, of course. And that will be on Wednesday, I believe. And then we've got England's next match against the Republic of Ireland. And our Patsy as well. She got her debut. Very excited for her. The fact that she slotted straight in, didn't she? And she got full 90, I believe, in that match. So how do we think that's going to help her confidence? Because we've seen, again, how she played against Leicester. She was very calm, very collected, and we can see her confidence getting better each week. So now do we think the international form as well is just going to keep boosting that?
I think that can only be good for her, because if you're playing with the same players week in, week out, you're only going to get to like a ceiling. Whereas if she then goes on international breaks and plays with players with different styles and things like that, I think that can only help her. I can see why she decided she wanted to, switch allegiances to get those international minutes in.
Yeah. Even though she was brilliant in the unders, there just wasn't a gap for her to make that transition, was there? Did anyone else watch any of the other internationals from our villains? And anything to comment?
Highlights,
because it was quite hard to watch quite a lot of them.
Yeah, I think Sai had a goal disallowed, maybe in the.
Yes, I saw that goal. It was people talking about it on Twitter, weren't they? Was there 2 shouts?
Potential mistake. I didn't watch it in live.
Yeah, I think it was. Now that you mentioned it, thank you. There was 2. There was one. She scored, and actually, she did a Stina Black Seniors. She got fouled in the box.
She was offside.
She's never offside. Have you not heard the song? No, she got fouled in the box, got back up, and scored. So she went down. Apparently, the ball hit her hand as it went down. So, Stina Black Seniors.
But that's not handball, is it?
Well, it's not handball, is it? I mean, ball, hand, doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. So she got back up and scored, and then they chalked it off for handball. But on the replay, it didn't touch her hand. It was the defender's leg. So that was offside, offside handball. And then there was another penalty shout denied, I believe, as well. So she was saying, look, if there is VAR in the game, for these situations, yes, it would have helped. But like we were saying earlier, we need everyone full time. We need them professional. I would quite happily have goal line technology before anything else. Just a simple yes or no, has it gone over the line or not? But yeah, we just need a much higher standard of refereeing, don't we?
Why isn't VAR being used in the qualifiers? Sorry, Joe. Does anybody know?
We didn't have it in the England game either, did we?
No.
It's not being used in any of the qualifiers, is it?
No. So that kind of begs the question, because we're all at these bigger stadiums. So you'd think,
and it's,
I don't know.
Sorry. It's not like they're friendlies and they don't have any consequences. They are, qualifiers for a tournament. So.
Yeah, and you think, top 2 teams go through automatically. So literally every point counts, as it does in the WSL. So the last thing I'll ask everyone then, we are currently 7th with 20 points, not too far off 5th from last year, although there is a current 9-point gap between us and Liverpool, who've done phenomenally well this season, I might add. Dark horses, definitely. So our next match is against Chelsea. How are we all feeling? Because to be fair, Chelsea have done a lot of matches. They are mortal. You never know. In fact, let's go around so everyone gets a chance. Lindsay, what do you think? Going into it against Chelsea, what have we just got to do to get the job done, do you think? Is there any chance?
I think if we knuckle down, we we can get something out of the game. I'm not saying we're going to get 3 points. I'm not going to say we're going to get 1 point, but we'll hopefully get something out of the game. That they've played a lot of games. They're tired. They're leggy. They've been coming back from international duty. It's the end of the season. Yes, Emma Hayes wants to push on for the League Cup, not the League Cup, the league. But she's not achieving a lot of things. I think they're going through a little bit of turbulence at the moment because she's leaving. There's a lot of instability in the ranks and a lot of uncertainty, and we can capitalise on that. And we always play better when we play good teams like the top 4. So I think we can really hold our own. And we also know their secret weapon is Hannah Hampton. Well, we know exactly what Hannah's weaknesses are because we've had her for so long on our books.
We always play better away, I think. And I think if Carla can set the team up to do the same job as we did at Spurs away, we might be able to get a point there. Because the way we played at Spurs, it was just fantastic. If she can do the same thing at Chelsea, I think we got a chance. But it just, there's a lot of ifs. So
yeah, a lot of ifs and buts, and everyone take their boots with them just in case anything happens. Emily, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see us go back to the formation we had for Everton and Arsenal. Injuries allowing, I'd like to see us go back to that because I think they worked quite well in those games. I think, like Lindsay said, we do have a chance to get something from it. I think because Chelsea they haven't recently in their league games, they haven't scored over amounts. There's a couple of games where they've been quite tight, and it's taken them, until near the end of the match to get something. So I think as long as we keep our concentration, we could come away with something, maybe.
Yeah, but those last 10-15 minutes, won't it? That the decider. Yeah. Gary, what do you reckon?
I do have to agree with everybody else that if we sort of go out and play our game, the girls are generally all together and do work well as a team. You take in the away match against Tottenham and so on, we do play better away from home. And more often than not, we outsing the ones away from home. And I do think that makes a big difference to the girls as well. They definitely do here. And I think Chelsea, leggy, probably more concentrated in Europe right now than anything. We do have a chance against them.
I really hope so. Becky, Jodie, anything else? How are you feeling? Can we do it? Can we get something?
We just have to play our game, and yes, a point is definitely more than doable. Pushing the win, it's going to depend on who we put in front of each, isn't it, really? I think that's the biggest question, is until we see the lineup on the day, who knows?
Yeah, are we setting up with 5 centre-backs or...
Yeah.
4 forwards, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It all depends on, I suppose, what Carla thinks the setup should be. I think I probably revert back to the age-old taking a game at a time because they are so unpredictable this season. We've seen some shocking results, very early in the season. Bristol came back at Arsenal. These unpredictable games, West Ham, Arsenal, I'm just going to use all the Arsenal examples.
Leicester, Arsenal.
Leicester, Arsenal. We've had these, shocking results come through. You just can't predict it this season. I think the quality has been raised in the lower half of the table so well.
Yeah.
And it can't be anything other than a good thing. So I just hope we give them a bit of a battle.
Yeah, I think that's all we can hope for, isn't it? Give them a fight, make them work for it, and not make it easy for them at all. And hopefully they'll have sorted out what kind of ball system that they're using, because we don't want another fight at the end of the match.
I did a news publication, but not from the Swiss national team itself. Something about Noelle Moritz not staying with the team because she's got a hip injury. But it's not.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think I saw you repost that actually, but it hasn't been announced anywhere else, has it? So it's very, very much one source. So fingers crossed. They're wrong. Yeah. Please no. We've got a couple of games left. Just wrap everyone in cotton wool. No more injuries. Thank you very much. But yeah, so that will be Chelsea. It's now moved midweek, hasn't it? Which is annoying. Same night as at a wedding, so kind of can't go. I don't think John would love it if I missed his wedding for the Chelsea match. And then we've only got, let's have a look, West Ham, Brighton and City, and that's it. So West Ham, Brighton, City, I promise this is the last thing I'll ask you. Pick up a good few points from those, do we think? West Ham,
get 6, I think.
We could do 6.
I like that. Yeah.
Do the double over West Ham. Brighton as usual.
Yeah. And of course, we're all going to be dressed up for Brighton away, aren't we? So that'll be an even better win for that one. And then hopefully we get to see City lift the trophy at Villa Park at the end of the season. That'll be a nice one, won't it? For that one. Right. Has anyone got any final thoughts, predictions, musings they'd like to share before we sign off for the evening?
I think so.
Yeah. Perfect. Right, well, thank you very much for joining me this evening, you lovely people. And thank you very much for people still watching the vlog. This will be right at the end. And hopefully this will be the first of many Aston Villa Women Fan Club post-match roundups. And maybe we can even start doing some pre-match ones as well. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Take care.